Okay. So circles, I think the theory is mostly done. Okay.
Satish sir?
Yes, madam, please.
I'm not able to make co-hosts here. You
No
will
problem.
come out and log in, sir, otherwise.
It's okay. I'm able to manage, madam. Leave it.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Thank you. Okay, so system of circles related theory I want to discuss. I think circles theory is mostly covered. If one or two small points are there through questions, we can discuss that. Okay, system of circles. The first topic is angle between the circles. Actually, system of circles, that concept is little different. Angle between the circles, orthogonality is not a part of system of circles. It's a part of circles only. Okay. But in IP, they're separated like that. So when you look at main syllabus or advanced syllabus, you may not find system of circles word. Doesn't mean it's not there. It is part of circles. In fact, orthogonality is very regularly asked in JEE advanced exam. Okay, if you see. What is angle between the circles? Like we studied in first year chapter, tangents and normals. Whenever some two curves are intersecting, at the point of intersection, you draw tangent to first curve and draw tangent to second curve. The angle between those two tangents is defined as angle between the curves, right? Okay. Now, first year, if you want to find angle between the curves, you have to do a lot of work. First, you have to find point of intersection. You have to find dy by dx for the first curve, dy by dx for the second curve. If angle between them is theta, okay, then tan theta equal to mod m1 minus m2 by 1 plus m1 m2, right? You have to do that. But in circles also we can do that, but it is not necessary. You can do it in some other way. Okay, let us say I have, this is one circle, this is another circle, and now this has center here, this has center, this is a radius here, this is a radius here. But tangents are different. I have to draw one perpendicular line to this. This and this are perpendicular where this angle is 90. And I can draw this and this. They are perpendicular, that angle is 90 between them. But this green line is tangent. This red line, I don't know if it is red for you or not, but it is a red line. This red line is tangent to the first circle. And the angle between the tangents, okay? No, that is not 90. 90 is this part, and here 90 is this part. I want this angle. The angle between the tangents will be this theta. All right. Okay. So how to find this theta is that this red line total 90. This is theta. This small angle is 90 minus theta. Similarly, this small angle, because from this green line to this green line is 90. This small angle is 90 minus theta. Okay. So please see, this green line is tangent to bigger circle. This red line is tangent to smaller circle. Angle between them I took theta. This small angle is 90 minus theta. This small angle is 90 minus theta, because this plus is 90 for these two. This plus is 90 for these two. So now if you separately take this radius R1 and this radius R2 and the centers C1, C2, let's say this point of intersection is A. This is R1, this is R2, this is D, distance between the centers. What is this total angle coming? 90 minus theta plus 90 minus theta. 90 minus theta plus theta plus 90 minus theta is 180 minus theta. Now if you take this 180 minus theta and apply cosine rule, you will get cos 180 minus theta is R1 square plus R2 square minus D square by 2 R1 R2. A square plus B square minus C square by 2AB. Cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta equal to this. Okay, I can even write that here. It is minus cos theta. If we give this minus, we will get cos theta equal to D square minus R1 square minus R2 square by 2 R1 R2. Okay. You cannot see here. Okay. So this is the formula for angle between the two circles. Now we use this formula, but if the circle is in the form of x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c, you have to really find center of this, find distance between them as d and r1 and use this formula. Or you substitute here, when you simplify, it will become some other formula as cos theta equal to c plus c dash minus 2g dash plus 2f dash by 2 r1 r2. R1 r2 are root g1 square plus f1 square minus c1. R2 is root g2 square plus f2 square minus c2. Okay, we can use this. It's not necessary to remember this, but you need to remember this. Now, if they are intersecting orthogonally, even in first year tangents and normals we studied, two curves are intersecting orthogonally means the tangents are perpendicular, or angle between the tangents is 90 degrees. Okay, what is the condition for that? Cos 90 is 0, so this numerator should be 0. So when d square is equal to r1 square plus r2 square, or 2g dash plus 2f f dash is equal to c plus c dash. Okay, if you take one circle as GFC, another circle as G dash F dash C dash, this is a condition for orthogonality. Okay, can all of you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, just got a call in between. Okay, where is it? Yeah. So you have to remember three formulas. One is angle between the circles is this formula in general, and if the circles are intersecting orthogonally, this formula or this formula, both you should remember. Okay, this one, and this one, all three we are going to use sometime or other. Even though we use this very frequently for orthogonality, you should also know this, and you should also know this. One more thing you should know, orthogonality in figure wise, what will happen, especially for circles, is when two circles are intersecting orthogonally, then the tangent here should exactly pass through center of this, and the tangent here should exactly pass through center of this, and they are 90 because always radius and tangent are perpendicular. So this line is radius of the smaller circle, at the same time it is tangent to bigger circle, and this line is radius of the second circle and tangent to the first circle. They are perpendicular. Because earlier we got some kind of figure where this is 90, this is theta, this is 90 minus theta, this is 90 minus theta. I erase that figure. But when theta becomes 90, this should be 0, this should be 0, means these two lines should be same, these two lines should be same. So this line is simultaneously the radius of the first circle and tangent to second circle. And this line is radius of second circle and tangent to first circle, and radius and tangent are always perpendicular. You have to know when two circles are intersecting orthogonally, at the point of intersection, when you draw tangent to one circle, it will pass through center of other circle, or it will be normal of other circle. Okay, for a circle, normal will always pass through the center. Maybe while telling the circle theory, I did not talk about normal, we only talked about tangent. That is because in circle you take any point, the normal will pass through center, so you don't need any separate formula for normal. Okay, so this is going to be important point. Why? Let us say somebody gave me a circle, somebody gave me one point, and they say, taking this as a center, draw a circle which is cutting orthogonally. All right, so they are expecting a circle like this, where this will be tangent and this will be the radius, and that will be tangent to this. Similarly here and this. Okay, these two lines are tangent to big circle, these two lines are tangent to small circle, and they're perpendicular. Then what is the radius? How will you find this? Nothing but from this point length of tangent to the small circle. So if this is s equal to 0 and if this is x1 y1 as a center, this length is simply root s1. So whenever two circles are intersecting orthogonally, you take center of one circle, find length of tangent to the other circle, that will give you the radius of the first circle. Is it clear? Okay, intersecting a given circle orthogonally, there will be a lot of circles. Okay, let us say I have some two circles. Okay, little bigger one. I want a circle to intersect this also orthogonally, this also orthogonally, and I also want to know how many such circles will be there. Just think about it. I have to drink some water. Anyway, in your group, there are some numbers. I don't know those numbers belong to whom. Later on, I'll paste in the group those phone numbers. You just tell me it belongs to whom. Most of your numbers are feeded in my. I just fed in my phone, but few numbers I don't know the names. That is one thing. I don't know. Monday onwards, you may have more classes or more work or something. I don't know why. NR is completely free from Monday. Okay, till now he's dealing with outgoing seniors. Now all are tomorrow they're writing advanced exam, and I think Subhakar sir also a little more free. I don't know, he may keep 2 classes, and Patnaik sir also may start taking classes. Okay, then okay, you're enjoying for a few days, few weeks. Monday onwards quite busy. All right, and with this additional work and all that for some people. Now what is that we are discussing? Okay, I want a circle which can intersect this and this both orthogonally. Okay, there will be a lot of such circles, not just one. Let's say I have a point where from that length of tangent to this and length of tangent to this are equal somehow. Then you take that as the center and this as the radius. You will get a circle that will intersect these two orthogonally. Let's say I have some point somewhere here where this length of tangent and this length of tangent are equal. Take that as the radius and draw a circle that will intersect this and this orthogonally. So you have to identify points from which lengths of tangent to both circles are equal, and you take that length of tangent as radius, you will get a circle orthogonally, so you will get infinite circles. So cutting two given circles orthogonally, there will be infinite circles. That's the point. Okay, when you join all those centers, what will happen? I'll discuss with you. We'll come back to that topic, but what I want is, let's say I have a circle here and a circle here and a line here. I want to know a circle intersecting this orthogonally, and having center on this. How to find it? After discussing about radical axis, we will discuss some easy method, but we are not discussed about radical axis. Then what is the method is, you take the circle as x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0. Apply orthogonality condition here, orthogonality condition here, and center should lie on this line, substitute it. We'll get 3 equations and 3 unknowns. All right. Or they can tell, leave this. Find a circle intersecting this orthogonally, and having radius 5 units. Again, apply orthogonality condition here, or radius equal to 5. You'll get 3 equations and 3 unknowns. Somehow they will give 3 circles or some data about 3 things, and then they will ask you the circle. Wherever orthogonality is there, you apply orthogonality. If they say center should so and so line, you should pass through origin and things like that, then you do that. Let us, if they say I want a circle intersecting this orthogonally, and passing through 3, 5. Substitute 3 comma 5, one equation, orthogonality here, one equation, orthogonality here, one equation, 3 equations and 3 unknowns. You will get it. Okay. We'll come back to these questions after discussing radical axis. We'll discuss some easy method if possible. Okay, what is radical axis? A radical axis is a line, and what is the definition of that? If power of a point with respect to two circles are equal, then the locus of that point is a line, and that line is called the radical axis of the two circles. Of course, the two circles should not be concentric. If two circles are concentric, for a single point, power with respect to both circles cannot be equal. All right. So now, if I have two circles, s equal to 0 and s dash equal to 0, all right, then what is the power? If I take any point as x1 comma y1, what is the power with respect to first circle, s11? What is the power with respect to second circle, s dash 11? They should be equal. So I'll get s11 minus s dash 11 equal to 0. Locus means remove x1 y1 and write xy. I'll get s minus s dash equal to 0. Okay. So when you subtract two circles straight away, you will get a line. That line is only called radical axis. If I take any point on that line, the power with respect to first circle and second circle are equal. What do you mean by power? If a point is outside, power is nothing but length of tangent whole square. Because length of tangent formula is root s11 and the power is s11. So if really radical axis is there and take a point on that, this power is equal means this length of tangent and this length of tangent are equal. Okay. But of course, I can have two intersecting circles, maybe radical axis like this. There may be a point here. That point is inside the first circle, so power is negative. It is inside the second circle also, so power is negative. For this point also, power with respect to both circles are equal. But I cannot say from that I can say length of tangent to both of them are equal because I cannot even draw. All right. Okay. By the way, it is not so important maybe, but one interesting point. Let us say I have two circles intersecting like this, and this common chord. Okay. Take any point on that common chord. Now take only the first circle. Take having that as a midpoint, one chord will be there. Take only second circle, having that as a midpoint, one chord will be there. This length and that length will be equal, even though second circle is bigger. Understood? Having this as a midpoint, there is a chord of first circle. Having this as midpoint, there is a chord of second circle. Both their lengths are equal. Anybody want to tell why it is?
Can you repeat the question?
These are two circles intersecting. There is a small common chord here. Take any point on the common chord. Having that as a midpoint, there is a chord of the first circle. Having this as a midpoint, there is a chord of second circle. Length of this and this are equal. How will you prove it?
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, from midpoint, if we find perpendicular distance to that chord, we'll get means r square minus d square equal, sir.
Yes, right. Why r square minus d square are equal? R is different, d is different, but still. Joshka, you have to put on your video. Vijay, I cannot see you. Does anybody remember this formula? If a circle is there and there is a chord whose midpoint is x1, y1, what is the formula for length of the chord? Anybody remembers?
Sir, 2 into root over d square minus r square.
Yeah. 2 into root over r square minus d square, not d square minus
Sorry.
That is also 2 root minus s1. Because after all, what is the power definition? What is the power of d
The
square minus r
distance
square?
between the
Okay. Power definition is from the center you find distance to that point, the square of that minus radius square. d square minus r square, that is the definition of power. Okay. And why power is positive, pi power is negative for point inside outside is for one of them d is greater than r, for one of them d is less than r, right? If d square minus r square is S11, what is r square minus d square here? Because this is r and this is d, this will be root r square minus d square, it will be minus S1. Because your point is on this line, which is radical axis, the power of that with respect to both circles are equal. So this is 2 root minus S11, this is 2 root minus S dash 11, but both are equal, so they are equal. I hope you understood what I'm saying. Is everybody clear or not clear? Okay, I should repeat. First point I'm saying is, if you know midpoint of a chord is x1, y1, the length of the chord formula is 2 root minus s11. That is 2 into root over negative of the power. If a point is on this line, the power of that with respect to this circle and power of that with respect to this circle are equal. If powers are equal, then these lengths are also equal because s11 and s dash 11 are equal. So minus s11 minus s dash 11 are equal. 2 root minus s11 is same as 2 root minus s dash 11. Because this is a radical axis basically. Anyway, I'll come back and discuss the whole thing just quickly. Okay, so first point I'm making is, if there are two circles, if there is a point, the power of that with respect to first circle and second circle are equal. The locus of that point is a line. That line is called radical axis, and its formula is s minus s dash equal to 0. Second point, you know, normally when you subtract two circles, what will come? If they're intersecting circles, when you subtract, common chord will come. If they're touching circles, when you subtract, common tangent will come. When they're touching one inside the other, then also common tangent will come. All these three are radical axis only. Why? If you take a point anywhere on this, can I say from that length of tangent to this circle and this circle are equal? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How? If
Yes,
you
sir.
really draw one tangent here, one tangent here, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is P. PB itself is length of tangent to first circle also, length of tangent to second circle. Or you can say PA equal to PB equal to PC, and then PA equal to PB because from an external point lengths of tangents are equal. PB equal to PC because from an external point lengths of tangents are equal. I can say PA equal to PC. So if you take any point on this common tangent, from that length of tangent to first circle, length of tangent to second circle are equal. If lengths of tangents are equal, their squares are also equal. And the length of tangent is root s11, square is s11. So if you take any point on this common tangent, definitely the power with respect to this are equal. So it is radical axis. It's satisfying the radical axis. They're also same logic. But coming to this, if I call this point as A, this point as B, any other point as P, and draw two tangents here, one to this and one to this, this I'll call PT1, this I'll call PT2. Can somebody tell me why PT1 and PT2 should be equal?
Sir, PA into PB is equal to PT2 square and PT1 square.
Yeah, power theorem. PA into PB account to first circle is PT1 square, account to second circle is PT2 square. So PT1 square equal to PT2 square, that is S11 equal to S dash 11. So you take any point on the common chord, the power with respect to both circles are equal. That's why it came identical with radical axis. Right? Okay. Anyway, radical axis definition is very simple. Locus of a point whose power with respect to first circle is equal to whose power with respect to second circle. That locus is a line, and that is called radical axis. Okay. Now, one may say this is all fine. When a point is inside the other, when you subtract, you will get a line. It will be somewhere here. Can I tell something about it? Like this, I cannot give any explanation. It is just a line. That's all. But every time, the radical axis is perpendicular to line joining the centers of the circles. You take these two centers, this and this are perpendicular. You take these two centers, this and this are perpendicular. You take these two centers, this and this are perpendicular, even here. You don't need all the figure. Really take general circle, subtract, you'll get radical axis, take the slope of that, and take slope of the line joining centers. You'll understand product of the slopes is -1. So every time radical axis somewhere here which is perpendicular to the line joining centers. Okay. Now one may say here I'm able to see radical axis common chord, here common tangent, but here something is outside. So can we tell something about here, this case, when they're completely separate? Yes, please.
Means why it is perpendicular, sir?
Oh, why? Just because of slopes, nothing. It is not the reason anything. Of course, I can tell some other reason why it should be, but I'll tell you one thing. Simply take x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c, x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2g dash plus 2 plus c dash equal to 0. And you subtract, what is the radical axis will come, right? So that is 2 into g minus g dash x, 2 into f minus f dash y plus c minus c dash equal to 0. What is the slope of this line? Minus of g minus z dash by f minus f dash. Correct? What is the slope of line joining centers? Minus g comma minus f.
F minus F dash by G minus.
F minus f dash by g minus d. So you can see product is minus 1. Right?
Any other place?
So I want to give another explanation by pure geometry. Okay, see, let us say I have two circles. Somehow I know one point here where from that length of tangent to this and length of tangent to this are equal. That is, let us say this is L1, this is L2, this is R1, this is R2. This is root over L1 square plus R1 square is equal to root over L2 square plus R2 square. From this point, length of tangent to both circles are equal. Let us assume that. Okay. Now I am going to prove to you that if you take any point above that vertically, from there also length of tangent are equal. Let us say I take a point at a distance k. From there I want to draw length of tangent, length of tangent. Okay. These are perpendicular.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, in the triangle, L1 is hypotenuse, no, sir?
Okay. L1 square minus R1 square. Thank you, bro. So L1 square minus R1 square, L2 square minus R2 square, they're equal. I'm assuming this is given. Now what I have to prove is, if I take a point vertically above that, at whatever height you want, from there also lengths of tangents are equal, I should prove. That is very easy. If this is L1, this is K, what is this distance?
L1 square.
L1 square plus k.
Now from that point, if I want perpendicular distance, what will come? L1 square plus K square minus R1 square. And this is L1 square plus K square minus R2 square. If I take L1 square plus K square minus R1 square and L2 square plus K square minus R2 square. If these two are equal, can I say these two are also equal?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because only x added k square, x added k square, and whatever k you take, it is true. So as you increase k, so this whole line. If you can find one single point on the line joining centers from which lengths of tangent to both circles are equal, everything above that, everything below that, from that also lengths of tangents should be equal. That's why radical axis coming that vertical line. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But anyway, just a standard point that the line joining centers is perpendicular to the radical axis in all the cases. Just by slopes, you can prove that. Okay. So now this radical axis concept comes in system of circles. I'll discuss about it, but it is useful for our orthogonality. That is that if I have two circles, I want a circle to intersect this and this orthogonally. What is the locus of center of that? Is nothing but radical axis. Why? If at all there is a circle intersecting this also orthogonally, this also orthogonally, if it has center, from that point, this is also radius, this is also radius. But this is length of tangent to first circle, this is length of tangent to second circle. They should be equal. So if at all there is a circle intersecting these two orthogonally, from that center, the perpendicular distance, the length of tangent to this circle is radius, length of tangent to this circle is also radius, they should be equal. And from an external point, if lengths of tangent to both circles are equal, powers are equal, the locus of that point is radical axis. So you take any point on the radical axis, from there the two lengths of tangents are equal. If you take that as a radius and draw a circle with this as a center, that circle definitely will intersect these two orthogonally. Okay. Even though orthogonality and radical axis doesn't have a direct connection, but it is useful to know like this. If you don't know about radical axis also, still same answer will come. How? Let us say somebody says find the locus of that center. Okay. Two circles are there. There is a variable circle intersecting orthogonally. What is the locus of the center? We assume is x1, y1 center, radius is r. Apply orthogonality for these two, you'll get one equation. Apply orthogonality for these two, another equation. In that, subtract so that r will get cancelled. From that, you'll get locus of x1, y1 as exactly s minus s dash equal to 0 only will come. If you want, I'll show you. What are the equation of circles x1, y1 and r is the radius? X square plus y square minus 2x1x minus 2y1y plus x1 square plus y1 square minus r square equal to 0. This whole thing I'll call it as C. And this is a general circle GFC circle. This is G dash F dash C dash circle. What is the orthogonality for between these two? 2G G dash 2 into G into minus x1. 2F F dash 2 into F into minus y1 equal to C for this, and C dash is this. I should write as x1 square plus y1 square minus r square. I applied orthogonality for these two. If I apply orthogonality for these two, that is this and this, I'll get 2G dash minus x1, 2F dash minus y1 equal to C dash plus again same x1 square plus y1 square minus r square. I want locus of x1, y1 without any r. How to eliminate r? Subtract these two. This will get cancelled. When you subtract these two, what will come? You'll get 2 into G minus G dash or G dash minus G into x1. 2 into F dash minus F into y1 is equal to C minus C dash. When you bring this side, that is nothing but radical S minus S dash equal to 0 only. 2G minus 2G dash, 2F minus 2F dash plus C minus C dash. This is nothing but S minus S dash. Okay. So I told you theoretically why the lengths of tangents are equal. That's why the locus of the center is radical axis. Or really we've done the whole process algebra, and we also got again S minus S dash equal to 0. So just remember this one point, that whenever two circles are there and radical axes are there, two things. You take any point on that, from that lengths of tangent to both circles are equal. The power of that with respect to this circle and this circle are equal. And not only that, if you take that length of tangent as the radius, and if you get a circle, that will intersect these two orthogonally. So locus of center of circle, which is intersecting these two orthogonally, is radical axis itself. Now that can save a lot of time for us in some questions. For example, in IP we have this. If I have three circles, I want one single circle which can intersect this one, and this one, all three orthogonal. All right. Normally, what will you do? You will take that fourth circle, what we need as x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0. Apply orthogonality here, orthogonality here, orthogonality here. Three equations and three unknowns. You have to find g value, f value, c value. All right. It will take quite a bit of time. Another method is, if a circle is intersecting these two orthogonally, its center should lie on this radical axis. If a circle is intersecting these two orthogonally, its center should lie on these two radical axis, this radical axis. If a circle is intersecting these two orthogonally, its center should lie on this radical axis. And all the three radical axes will be concurrent. Why? If you take any point on the first one, from that length of tangent to these two are equal. If you take any point on the second one, from that length of tangent to these two are equal. And if you take that point of intersection, from that length of tangent to these two are also equal, these two are equal, means from that length of tangent to these two are also equal. So that point should lie on radical axis of these two also. That's why they are concurrent. So from this point, length of tangent to this, length of tangent to this, length of tangent to this are equal. If I take that as the radius and draw a circle, that will cut all the three orthogonal. All right. So we can find very easily. So when they give three circles and ask find a circle intersecting all three orthogonally, you don't have to apply orthogonality condition 3 times. Subtract 2 lines, you'll get 1 line. Subtract 2 circles, you'll get another line. Third line not required. Solve these 2 lines, you'll get a point. From that point, you find root S1 to any one of the circle, you'll get same number. Take that number as the radius. You know center and radius, you can find the circle equation. In fact, this point is called radical center of these three circles. The point of concurrence of the three radical axes is called radical center. Is everybody clear about it?
Yes.
Okay. Magna, are you clear about radical center? Please put on your videos. I don't know, video is stuck or what happened? Magna, JNE.
Sir, I am disconnected, sir. Network, some issue is there.
Okay, all right. Okay, so this radical center concept, everybody clear? Okay, now some questions may not appear like radical center, but we'll still, it will save some time. I'll tell you what is that. Sometimes they'll give two circles and one point, and they say this, there is a circle which is intersecting this orthogonally, and passing through this point. Find that circle. It is not that you take general circle, apply orthogonality here, and substitute this point to solve. You can do another method. What is that? Assume this as point circle. Let's say it is 2, 3. Take it as x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square equal to 0. Subtract these two, will get one line. Subtract these two equations, will get one line. Subtract these two equations, will get one line. Okay, we'll get one radical center. From that, length of tangent to this, and distance to this point circle are equal. If we take that as the radius, again we'll get a circle intersecting this orthogonally, passing through. So in the case of point circle, orthogonality and passing through the point are same. Is it clear, everybody? Okay. Almost same as this another point. Let us say somebody tells you there is a circle and there is a point.
D square is close to
Passing through this point and intersecting this orthogonally, there are a lot of circles. What is the locus of the center of that? Somebody can take that center as x1, y1, okay, and find distance to this, that will be radius. Find the circle equation and apply orthogonal to this. We'll get a condition, we'll get locus. Without all that, imagine this is a point circle. Subtract these two circles equations, directly will get radical axis, and that is the only answer. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say they said this is 2, 3. Write it as x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square equal to 0 square. Subtract these two.
find radical axis.
Yes. And to take any point on that, length of tangent to this and length of tangent, the distance to this, length of tangent are equal. Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think when I discuss question also, I can discuss something about. Let me mute everybody once. I don't have option. No? Okay. Let me see who is that. Who is unmuted? Pranay, mute yourself once.
Oh, yes.
That's all. Okay. Let us say I have a circle and I have 2 points somewhere here, somewhere here. If they say find a circle intersecting this orthogonally, passing through this point and passing through this point. Again, you don't have to take general circle and get 3 equations. Take this as point circle, this as point circle equation properly. Subtract these two, subtract these two, subtract these two. You'll get the 3 radical axes, or 2 radical axes sufficient. So all of them will get center. From that, you find distance to this or length of tangent to this will be equal. That will give you a radius. You can do it. So when you do questions, especially about orthogonality, you can do this. Okay. So even though they appear to be orthogonality questions, by using a radical axis concept, things are easier. All right.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yes, Pranay, what do you want?
Can you do one, please?
I should explain once again.
No, sir. Things.
What?
No, I mean, sir, concept to concept, no gap is there, sir.
I'm telling very fast. I should give some break. You're telling.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah. When we do problems, it is easy to concentrate. I'm just only one side I'm speaking, and you are only audience. You know, it's difficult to focus. Right. Okay. Let me then do one thing. I can share some questions and show you and come back. Okay. Just for relaxing. Can I share the screen? Yes. I want circles and set. Okay, fine. Yeah, sometimes if you keep on eating, we will not be able to digest. We need some time to digest. Okay, so I'll show you orthogonality questions and then. I tried to put the questions in order. Some reorder still required, but to a major extent, to some extent, they're covered. I was not having time to put them in. I'm just checking where did orthogonality start. Okay. So from 100 onwards, I think angle between the circles started. So there you have to use cos theta equal to d square minus r1 square minus r2 square by 2r1 r2. Okay. So this is the angle between the circles. This is also angle between the circles. Yeah, from here orthogonality where you can use 2g dash plus 2f dash equals c plus c. Yeah, look at 109 question on the screen. 109. A circle passes through point 3, 4 and cuts this orthogonally. What is the locus of center of that? So one way is we can take that center as x1, y1 and then find the circle equation where you know center and one point on the circle, and then apply orthogonality condition or d square equal to r1 square plus r2 square. Without all that, another way what I'm telling just now is take 3, 4 as the center. The point circle is correct. It will be x minus 3 whole square plus y minus 4 whole square is equal to 0. Okay, that is one circle, that is 0, not 6. Okay, that and this circle subtract it directly, will get the line. Is it okay? 109? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Pranay, is that clear to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If the circle touches the circle externally and cuts the circle orthogonally, this we have to do normalizes equations wise. Triple one. Can somebody tell me how will you do triple one question? Anybody? No problem.
Sir,
Yes, please.
find S1.
Yeah, simply find length of tangent, root S1. Man. From 2, 3, you find length of tangent to the circle, that should be the radius. Because we discussed, whenever two circles are intersecting orthogonally, from center of one circle, you find length of tangent to other circle, that will give the radius of the first circle. In between touch, okay, touching condition also, I'll come back to that, how to do some questions there. Can somebody give an idea about 115? The question is, there are two circles which are intersecting. Maybe origin is somewhere outside here. This is origin. The 2 points of intersection have to be joined to origin. They want that combined equation.
Sir?
Sir,
Yes, please.
can you repeat one, sir?
Two circles are intersecting. The points of intersection are, let us say, A and B. origin is somewhere outside. They want combined equation of OA and OB.
Okay.
You can see on the screen itself. You don't have to see the video.
Sir,
Yes, please.
the subtract two lines, sir.
Yeah,
The
subtract the two
subtract those two
circles.
circles, sir. Circle
We'll
equations
get-
will get on the lines. Sir.
Yes, sir.
After that,
Homogenization.
family.
Yeah. Homogenization. Yes. Whenever a curve and a line are intersecting at 2 points and those 2 points are joined to origin, how will you find combined equation is by homogenization. Yes, we can do homogenization. I'm just looking for some relevant questions for this. All right. Okay, so some of few points of this. Earlier we know, how will you know whether two circles are touching or intersecting and all? We'll find C1, C2, depending on whether it's less than R1 plus R2 or more than R1 plus R2 and all those things. Okay, but there is another way to do, especially for touching case, whether two circles are touching each other or not. Apart from finding C1, C2 and finding R1 plus R2, R1 minus R2, one of them should be equal, right? Is that subtract the two circles, you'll get a line. Okay. Now, if that line, you take one of the original circles, you take S minus S dash equal to 0, S equal to 0 is given, S dash equal to 0. This line, is it touching this circle or intersecting this circle? Let us check. How will you check that? From the center of that circle, find perpendicular distance to this. If it is equal to radius of that, it is touching. Okay. Similarly, intersecting or outside. If this line is touching this, it will also touch this. Then they must be touching this way or touching this way. One of them. If this line is intersecting the first circle, it will also intersect second circle. That means they must be like this. Of course, they can also be like this also, where this is a common. Not that common chord is there means they are like this. They can be on one side also centers. If this circle is completely outside this, then the two circles are like this, where radical axis is here, or one is inside the other, where radical axis is. Okay. So when you subtract two circles, you'll get a line. If that line is touching any one of the original circles, it will touch the other circle also. Then it will be like this or like this. If it is intersecting one of the circles, it will also intersect the other circle. They will be like this or like this. And if it is completely outside one of the circles, it will be like this or like this. Okay. So touching case can be verified. Whether they're touching internally or externally, we'll find it later. Whether touching or not, just find radical axis and see whether radical axis tangent to one of the original circles. How will you know differentiate between these two? You take the center of the first circle and center of the second circle and take this line. See whether they both lie on the same side of the line or either side of the line. Minus L11 is to L22. If this is L, this center is x1, y1, this center is x2, y2. If L11 and L22 have same sign, it is this kind of figure. If L11 and L22 have opposite sign, they are touching like this. Whatever it is, if at all they are touching, how will you find the common tangent at that point of contact? Simply subtract, you will get it. Here also simply subtract, you will get it. Okay. This may have some other two tangents that we have all the method of action, center of similitude and all that. But tangent at the point of contact, okay, that can be found by simply subtract. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Anytime if I'm telling too fast or you need some break, please tell me so that I can discuss one or two questions. I'm not discussing questions because I thought through that questions we can discuss, and we already tried some, but please tell me if I'm going fast or something like that. Next, this question is very common. They'll give two circles and they'll ask length of this common chord. If a circle is there and a line is there, we have formula for length of this common chord. What is that? This perpendicular distance is d, this is r, 2 root r square minus d square. If the two circles are given and they want common chord, anybody have an idea how to do this? Not very difficult, right? It's like as easy as this question only.
Sir, it is locus of means locus for which length of the chords are equal to both the circles we can take, sir.
That's okay, but I'm not asking that line equation. I'll give you two circles equations. I'll also tell they're intersecting. What is the length of the common chord? How will you find that? That is the question.
Sir, by subtracting the two equations, I'll get the common chord. Then we'll do the same thing.
Yeah, just subtract these two, you'll get this line. Forget about one of the circles. Use 2 root r square minus d square for one of the circles. You'll get it. Very simple, right?
Yes.
Okay. There is also this question, you'll find it common. And before that, I have to tell something. Yeah. You imagine this circles here. Okay. All these circles, they have they're intersecting at 2 points. Out of these circles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or some more I can draw. Out of this family of circles, you take any two of them, they'll intersect at these 2 points. So this line is a common chord. So when you subtract these two circles also, you'll get this line. When you subtract these two also, you'll get this line. When you subtract these two also, you'll get this line. So if this is S, this is S dash, and this is L, S minus S dash is equal to L. Whatever you take S here or S here. One may say, I'll give you this and I want you to find this. Okay. S dash minus S is L. Okay, I'll give you S, I'll give you L. I want S dash. How to find it?
S dash plus L.
S plus L. Okay, S dash is S plus L. So when you add this circle and line, you'll get 1. But do you think that is the only answer? Why this
S plus
also can be
lambda.
S dash? Yeah, S plus lambda.
Plus lambda.
When you take a line equation, 2 times that is also line equation, 3 times because equal to 0 is there. By multiplying 2, you are not going to change any points on that line. Even the apparently equation changes. So one should not think S dash minus S is only L. It can be any multiple of L. So when you say L is equal to 0 is equivalent to S dash minus S equal to 0, we are not saying these two are equal. We are saying this is equal to some lambda times L. So whenever a circle is there, S, and whenever there is a line L equal to 0, any other circle passing through these 2 points will be in the form of S plus lambda L equal to 0. For a simple reason that when you subtract these two, you are getting the same radical axis. Not only for intersecting, even for touching. Let us say I have one circle and one line. Again, if this is S equal to 0, this L equal to 0, S plus lambda L equal to 0, as you change lambda, take lambda equal to 2, lambda equal to 3, lambda equal to 5, you'll get different circles touching this circle at this point like this. You'll get all those circles with touching the given circle at the point of contact of the given line. Of course, they can be even completely separate also. Like this, I can have a family of circles where all of them have same radical axis. Actually, that is called a system of circles. If a infinite circles, a family of circles, out of that any two have same radical axis, then that family is called coaxial system of circles. That's why this chapter heading is system of circles. But even though we use it in very few questions. So sometimes they can ask, there's a circle, there's a line, they're intersecting at 2 points. Some other point is 5, 7. They'll give this line L, they'll give this S, and they say find this circle. A and B are point of intersection of S and L. There is a circle passing through A and B and 5, 7. What is that? Very easy. Any circle passing through A and B will be in the form of S plus lambda L equal to 0. How to find lambda? We should pass through 5, 7. Substitute it. We'll get lambda. Put that back here. We'll get answer. Instead of 5, 7, they may tell this should intersect some other circle orthogonally. Apply orthogonality condition, will get lambda. They may tell this radius should be 9 units, or they should touch so and so circle, whatever it is. For finding lambda, they will tell something about this. Any circle passing through A and B will be in the form of S plus lambda L equal to 0. If you want to find lambda, you should know something more about this circle, whether it is touching a circle or intersecting some other circle orthogonally, or you should pass through a point, or you should have some radius, or you should have some x-intercept, something about this circle. If it is mentioned, we can use that data to find lambda and put that lambda back, we'll get it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One last thing I'll tell quickly and I'll stop. And Monday's class, I think I can finish the rest of the theory. Not much is there. Mostly doubts only I have to discuss now and start doing advanced material. That's all. Very few points are there which I need to discuss for Monday class. One point quickly. If somebody gives me two circles and they're intersecting at A and B, there is one small circle having A and B as ends of diameter. Okay. Or same question can be asked. There is a circle and a line. They're intersecting at 2 points A and B. L is given, S is given. Here S is given, S dash. There is a small circle with A and B as ends of diameter. How to find that circle equation? Having A and B as ends of diameter. Either here or here.
S minus K S dash.
When you subtract these two, you'll get this line.
Yes.
Okay. You can even take S plus K S dash also, I don't mind. But having A and B as ends of diameter, how will you find that circle specifically?
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, we'll find the line equation, sir. After that,
Okay.
after that we'll write it as S plus lambda L is equals to 0 is the equation of the circle.
Okay. Whatever lambda you take, it is always a circle passing through A and B. But how will you get this particular circle with A and B as ends of diameter?
Then we'll find the center, sir, and that can substitute in the L, sir.
Yeah. You have to find center of this circle, which is going to come in terms of lambda. And that you have to substitute in the line. All right. That you have to substitute in the line. And because if you take other circle passing through A and B, that center will not be on the line L. Right? Only for this particular circle, center will be on the L. All right. So we will put that point, we will get it. We'll get lambda, put that back. Any other method other than this?
Sir, we can directly
Sir,
solve for the points.
Yeah, you can solve the line and circle and get these 2 points and then take them as ends of diameter. You can do. Any other method?
Sir, find foot of center on that line, sir. We'll
Yeah.
get center.
You take this center, find foot of that on the given line. You'll get the center of the required circle. And how will you find the radius?
Length we can find.
Length of the chord we can find this.
Yeah, 2 root minus S11 is the total length. Or this is R and this is D. Root R square minus D square you can find. That root R square minus D square is the radius of the new circle. Yes. So one method is S plus lambda L, find the center, put it in the line. That's how you do an IP. Okay. Another method is find foot of the center on that line and find also this length which will give you radius. You know, center and radius you can find. Another method is solve the line and the circle. You will get these 2 points separately and take them as ends of diameter. Sometimes those points may come surds, but still you can manage like this. From the line and the circle, eliminate y. You'll get a quadratic equation in terms of x. And eliminate x, you'll get a quadratic equation in terms of y. Add the 2 quadratic equations, directly you'll get this circle equation. Because after all, x minus x1 into x minus x2 is a quadratic equation with x1 and x2 as the roots. Plus y minus y1 into y minus y2 is a quadratic equation with y1 and y2 as the roots. You can add the 2 quadratic equations. Okay. So when I discuss only theory, sometimes it may look heavy that some people may not be relate to it. But still I'm discussing because we already done this question once. I thought you'll be able to relate to it. Otherwise, when you discuss the doubts and all through that discussion also, I think these points will be covered. Okay. So please, Monday, I don't have much to discuss, very little. And after that, I'm going to clarify your doubts in past year MCET questions. I may even do some questions from advanced material. All right. Thank you very much. You can leave.
Sir,
the-
sir.
Yes, tell.
Sir, can you keep System of Circles IP textbook in group, sir, please?
Okay. No problem. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thanks.
Thank you.